Morning! Happy Monday! Happy Mondays are done, don't they? Just waiting to see if I'm actually live. I think I am. Hi, ladies. Happy Monday. I hope you've had a fabulous weekend. It's been gorgeous weather. We got Charlie out on his bike because he's got bikeability coming up soon. I went out on Saturday night. Jade didn't even know this. I don't think. Oh, she saw it on Facebook. I went out to see, I'll call it a play, but I can't really ever describe what it was. It was incredible. It was about like masculinity basically, but really, really interesting, hilariously funny. Although someone did have a medical emergency that we think is a heart attack while we were there, and they all got stopped for a little while, so that were like fun. Really, really weird. And it's always a bit of a joke that wherever I go, something dramatic happens. So yeah, that was Saturday night, and then yeah, bikes yesterday. Don't really know what else we've done. I ain't done much work for a change on a weekend, which actually I'm feeling really guilty about now, which is also insane. And I would be yelling at all you lot not to feel guilty about that, because you are completely allowed time off. So I'm just going to check I can see the group because I can't see comments on the bit that I'm on. Morning, Karen. Are you okay? You coming co-working today? You don't come co-working, do you, usually? Well, we'll be there if you want to. We've got co-working after this. So, today's topic I'm going to talk about, and I've talked about it a zillion times in one form or another, but is money mindset. And I'm not talking about the spreadsheets or the taxes. I'm talking about the stories that you tell yourself in your head about money. And most of us are raised with some kind of money story. That whole money doesn't grow on trees, be grateful for what you've got, you have to work really hard to be successful. And like, these are all just things that we're told, and then we end up believing. And the truth is that your money mindset will either fuel your business or completely choke it. And if you're stuck under old stories, no strategy, no planning in the world will be able to get you past that. So these money stories are really, really important to address. If you've got one and you're watching, even if it's on replay, pop it me in the comments. Mine that I remember, so I'm from a proper pit family. My dad worked out pit, mum didn't have a job when we were little, because they didn't. And ours were always that money's really tight, you have to work really, really hard for your money, and like it's a slog to get money. And that's the stuff that I grew up with. One of my biggest limiting beliefs, sort of a bit of an aside, is that I had to eat everything on my plate. And I was still doing that into my 30s before I sort of realised that I am not in that position anymore. But because we were skint as kids, like, we ate everything on our plates, especially meat. Like, I vividly remember that being a massive thing at Sunday dinner. So the money stories, they sit with you for years, and you might not even know that you've got them. You might never have challenged them, you might never have just looked at them, but we've all got them one way or another. And God, if you're lucky enough to have wonderful money stories, like money comes easily, hold on to that. But most of us, especially the women that I tend to work with, do not have those kind of stories. So the first step to all of this is catching the story. Like I said, I was in my 30s before I realised that I was clearing plates that I did not want to finish because of old mindsets and old limiting beliefs. So when you think about raising your prices or charging more, what's the voice that pops up in your head? And gosh, I have this battle with some of you. And for some things, for myself, my one-to-one work, I raise my prices and I'm perfectly confident. But like my membership's ridiculously priced. And I have this battle with myself. So what voice pops into your head? Is it something that says, who am I to charge that? Well, that's other people aren't charging that. Nobody will pay me for that. Or my personal favourite, I just want to help people. I don't care about money. Let me tell you that you can help people a hell of a lot more if your business is sustainable in the first place. One of my favourite things about therapy is I charge a lot of money for therapy and coaching. But what that does is allow me then to choose where I want to work with people who couldn't afford to work with me. And I get to make that decision because I am making money in my business. Like, it's really important. So a big part of that, I want to help people. Money doesn't matter. You can't pour from an empty cup. Helping people doesn't mean being broke. And you can help people more if you have more money. Whether you choose to, and whether people with more money choose to, totally different thing, but you can help people more. So while we're doing this, I want you to think about and write down while you are, text it yourself, one unhelpful money thought that comes up for you. I could write down a few for me, but one specific unhelpful money thought that comes up for you. And if you want to share it and you're confident in doing that, do. Karen's got a great one from earlier. If you haven't got money, don't buy it. Massive one. And that's a very working class view of stuff, and like there's nothing wrong with that. It's technically absolutely correct. We don't want to get in debt, but the really rich people, they fuel their whole lives with debt because their money's in assets, and so they live day to day on debt because it's cheaper for them. They actually make money by living off of debt because their assets are growing. Yeah, it's such a mixed up one, but absolutely yes, if you haven't got the money for it, don't buy it. And walking that line's really hard. Like getting into debt to pay for your business, not necessarily a good thing unless you have a really clear strategy around it. So yeah, that's a great one, Karen. So yeah, write down an unhelpful money thought that comes up for you. And then let's flip it. Like every crappy money story has a little truth inside it there. So for example, something that says, who am I to charge that? The truth is, I've put in the work, the years, the value, and I make a difference to people. Who am I not to charge that? And just another little aside while we're on this, if I am looking for a mental health therapist, for example, I'm not going to the cheapest one because there's a heck of a lot to be thought. It's not really a sentence. We put a lot of our own beliefs on. If they're the cheapest, they're probably not that good. And so you take a risk holding yourself as the cheapest in your area because you're probably not that good. You're not making money, so you're not enjoying it in the first place. Whether you want to be the most expensive, that's a decision up to you. But I know that I am more like, well, I know that I'm never going for the cheapest option for something like therapy. But other stuff, like Temu and Shein and stuff, do so well because everybody knows that they're crap products that they're buying. That's really, really different from what it is that you want to create, probably. Most of us here are not trying to compete with Temu and Shein. So yeah, you've put in the work, you've put in the years, you've put in the learning. Charge your worth for that. The whole story of nobody will pay me. I remember sitting in my therapy chair that very first time and thinking, how the heck am I going to get clients? The truth is, the right people will pay you, and they will pay you gratefully, and they're the only ones that you want to work with. The right people will give you their money and be very, very happy about it. So flip it. The story of I just want to help people, the truth is, again, I've already said it, you can help people more when you're not stressed about paying your bills. You can help people much more in that situation. So take the story that you wrote down and rewrite it into a truth that's like empowering to you. It doesn't have to be perfect, just flip it round, because the stories are not the truth, and they never are. So on this then, mindset is not just about thoughts, it's about action. You've got to live in your new story, and that can be really, really tough if you're used to cutting costs and penny pinching and spending more time trying to save money when you could have spent the time earning money. That's also a big mindset thing as well. I remember reading it in, I think it probably Rachel Rodgers's book, or one of her books, was about, how much time it would take me to save some money versus what I could earn if I spent that time in money making activities. And that's a really, really helpful thing to think about as well. So you need to live in your new story. So for example, put your price up by 10% just because you can, and see what happens. See what actually happens. I remember when I first went to Paul from Clown Enterprise, when I was very first a therapist, and I was full. I was completely packed, and I was sort of getting a bit panicky of, I'm working far too much. I don't know what to do about it. And he told me to double my prices, but raise your prices. because the fact is, if I doubled my prices and half of my clients dropped away, I would still earn the same amount of money doing half of the hours. So this feeling of raise your prices and see what happens, if you can get to the stage where you're earning the same amount of money for less work, that's what we want to be doing. And what happened to me is I didn't quite double them. I think, God, honestly, it's laughable now. I went from £40 to £65. I'm 160 now. From £40 to £65, and I lost no clients. So I was still just as busy, but I was earning more money. And eventually you get into that part and you decide to raise them again and again. And now I have a wait list for clients still. I feel like I charge an incredible amount for therapy. Anyway, so yeah, raise your prices by 10% just to prove that you can. Operate a profit first style bank account. So I've done other videos about profit first. If you go to YouTube and have a little Google about them, you will find them. But the main bit about profit first, or one of the main bits, is pay yourself a salary, even if it is tiny. Even if you're paying yourself 20 quid a week, pay yourself that every single week. So it is payday, and that comes out first before everything else. As small business owners, and certainly as new business owners, we're tempted to plough it all back into the business. But it's really important for our mindset to pay ourselves. And then my last little bit is, instead of saying that I can't afford it, flip that into how can I afford it? So what can I do to be able to afford it? So people who want to work with me, sometimes they have to figure out what they need to do differently to come and work direct with me. One-to-one business coaching it's the same price as therapy. It's not cheap. How can you afford it? What could you do? And there's always tons of stuff that you could do. So on that then, what's one small money habit that you could start this week to act like the CEO of your business? Instead of just being a small business owner, be a business owner, an actual business owner who runs their business rather than just works in it. So here's the truth, like, money mindset is not about being greedy, and that's a really hard thing to get over sometimes. It's about being free enough to spend school holidays with your kids, to employ your mum when she gets made redundant because the company goes into administration, whatever it is. When you shift your stories, when you flip the script, when you take ownership actions, you stop working in fear and you start running your business with a different kind of confidence. Okay, so look at your notes, look at your old story, flip it round, and look at if there's a habit you can put in place to start making sure either you pay yourself or you take some action on a new money mindset. And that's your starter kit. All right, so keep building on it. If you've got any questions or you want to know anything, let me know. Pop it in the comments and we will check it. We read all of them. These all go over onto YouTube as well, so there's a whole library on YouTube of my Monday morning lives. If you're coming to co-working, I will see you at 10 o'clock. So we'll be in Balls over 10 till 12. If you want to come and don't know how, just drop us a quick message after this and we'll get you the details. Otherwise, am I back next week? Who knows? Yeah, Jade said yes. Yep, I'm back for Facebook Live exactly the same time next week. So if you want anything, if you want any specific live topics doing, anything that you want me to cover and talk about, drop those in the comments as well. Jade will pick them all up. This is one that we're doing because somebody asked for it. So yeah, we love to give you what you want. All right, ladies, have a great week and I will see you next Monday. Bye.